Haters, ¿cómo están? Espero que se encuentren de maravilla. En esta ocasión estamos nuevamente de manteles largos, ya que tenemos a un gran invitado de lujo. Con nosotros está el señor Heri Joensen, que es la guitarra y voz principal de la bandota, la leyenda del metal nórdico Tyr, quienes pues en el próximo 14 de abril van a lanzar su más reciente material de estudio a través de Metal Blade Records, el cual lleva por título Ballads. Es un gran álbum, se lo recomiendo mucho. Harry, how are you, man? Thanks a lot for being here for Conversation from the Underworld.
I'm great, man. Pleasure to be here. And how are you?
I'm very good. Thanks for asking, man. And, well, without further ado, well, let me first say the next album, Battle Ballads, wow, I was blown away. I mean, the symphonic elements did a big difference. I mean, you have always written and performed great music, but this album just is mind blowing. So congratulations for that.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad you like it. We're very pleased with it ourselves.
Yeah, you should, man. You should, man. And without further ado, I will start with the first question for you. And this question is courtesy of James Lollard from the band Ghost. And the question is this: who was the first person that showed you extreme music, and what was it? Tough one.
It must have been Slayer, if that counts as extreme.
Yeah.
And my friend Magnus Paula Poulsen, my classmate and my childhood friend.
So you were like what, maybe 11, 13 years old?
11 and onwards. I don't remember exactly. Maybe it was a bit later than that, because it didn't catch on here immediately after it was released. So it took some time for music to come to the Faroes. Maybe I would have been 14. I don't remember honestly, but I do remember him showing me, and I thought this is a bit too much for me.
Oh, so you didn't like it from the start?
No.
Oh, that's interesting, man. Great, man. Great. The next question I got for you is this one. Battle Ballads is your most melodic and easiest to connect album to date. That's why I think. But it still has lots of progression in it. How did you manage to put progression at the service of the overall more accessible sound of the album?
All we did really was try and make the songs a bit shorter and a bit more concise, and try not to test the patience of the listener. just try and subtract more than add. With the latest album, Hill, we just added more and more, and the songs became bigger and bigger. That's a fine way to work if that's what you want. But this time we deliberately went for a more easily digestible length and arrangement. But apart from that, we do just what we always do. We find the best melodies, harmonies, and riffs that we can, and we make the best songs that we can. So plus, of course, the symphonic elements this time. So it's just a standard, well, it's the usual Tyr compositions with some reservations. That's all.
Yeah, because this one is just straight to the throat, if you like that reference. Because
thanks.
I mean, it's not an easy composition, but it certainly is more accessible. I mean, more and more people will be able to enjoy this kind of songs because they will be not tested as much as in the previous albums. I mean, someone may find that bad or better, but I think the more people will be able to enjoy this album, even if they haven't heard anything from Tyr in the past.
I hope you're right, man. I hope you're right.
Yeah, man, because this album definitely deserves to be heard by a lot of people. I mean,
I appreciate that.
It's something else, man.
Thanks.
The next question is, As it happens in all of your albums, Scandinavian folklore is the main inspiration for your music, and this seems to be a very common thing amongst bands from the region. What do you think is the main reason that drives Scandinavian musicians towards these themes?
Speaking for myself, I when I was 11 years old, I was introduced to Faroese traditional music, Faroese and Nordic history, Norse mythology, and I loved it immediately. We learned it in school, and I was completely captivated by it. So later in life, when in my mid and late teens, when I got into metal, I'm started writing music maybe when I was 17 years old, and made my first band together with Gunnar, who's also bass player in Tyr now. And the first thing I thought of was to combine the two things I liked the most, which were Nordic tradition, music, and mythology, and heavy metal. So for me, that was pretty straightforward. I suppose it's the same reason other Scandinavian bands do the same. But I don't know. I don't know very many of them personally,
Yeah.
so I can't say.
So you will encourage directly from school to know more about your roots and your myths and your folklore. You were
Yeah,
encouraged
yeah,
in the school, a public school.
yeah, yeah. When I was in third grade or fourth grade, where our history teacher told us the main outline of Norse mythology and the Faroese and Nordic history. It was a standard. I think they still learn it in school, so it's a completely standard subject here.
That's great, man, because that doesn't happen in this side of the world. I mean, we have folk bands, but we don't really have lots of uh, data about those times because we were almost erased by by the colonization. But it's interesting that you, as a child, as a child, all the Scandinavian people are encouraged at such an early stage of their lives to have respect and to care about your roots and about your history. Because I mean, you can hear lots of bands, just to name the most famous, Amon Amarth in particular, obviously Tyr, and you just put so much love and so much interest and passion in the lyrics and in the way you want to talk about these tales that is just overwhelming.
Thanks. I'm glad you think so. Yeah, all nationalities, all ethnicities should learn about their own origins, and I'm very sorry if you don't do that. Maybe someone should do something about that. Um,
Definitely.
Even though South America was not kindly treated, I'm sure there are traces of the culture that were written down maybe a bit later, but certainly people can find it somewhere, and it's a shame if children don't learn that in school, and that should be changed.
Yeah, man, we are actually in a kind of a change in types of change regarding that topics. And well, main, Scandinavian countries went through the same with the Christians just invading and wiping all the northern culture. So maybe not
Exactly.
as extremely as happened in this side of the world, but definitely you went through all that shit too.
Certainly, yes.
Yeah, man. Thanks. And the next question for you is: symphonic elements made a tremendous difference in the outcome of this album. Do you think from now on you will be introducing these elements in all of Tyr's albums?
Yes, I think we will be doing this for the foreseeable future. You never know what we might think of, but certainly the next album is the plan at the moment. We didn't get that far, but it would have symphonic elements as well. Yes,
Yeah, because the sound of it is just massive, man. I mean,
I think it is.
I,
Yeah,
I will say this again. I was blown away, just the intensity and the profoundness of all the sound from the get-go. I mean, I listened with these headphones on my speakers, and just hearing the first song of the album, I was immediately wanted to grab an axe and a shield and go and run to the street. I mean, I was
Yeah,
immediately introduced in that atmosphere.
beautiful, man. That's all we can wish for.
Yeah, man, you certainly achieved that and more. And Harry, the last question I got for you is this one. What do you know, if you know something about Mexican metal or Latin American metal? Do you know any bands or something about the
Um,
scene in this side of the world?
I, I know Sepultura and Soulfly, and but those are Brazilian bands, I think.
Yeah, yeah, they count as Latin American bands too.
Yeah, I honestly, I can't. I have to disappoint you. I can't think of one Mexican band. I'm sure I've heard one or two, probably met one or two also. They just don't stick in my mind. I don't keep up very keenly with the latest and the greatest in the metal scene. I tend to listen to the same old, same old. I still listen to my favorite Iron Maiden albums and Judas Priest. So I'm sorry, I have to disappoint you there. I really should know
No,
the
man,
most famous Mexican metal bands.
that's just a symptom of the dynamics that we currently have in the scene. So maybe we should do something better to get our music, because we have good music in this, good metal in this side of the world, and we should be trying
Uh,
harder
try
to get
me,
it
try
out.
me. Which is the biggest Mexican band at the moment?
At the moment, well, maybe the most famous metal band now, I will say maybe Obesity, maybe Semican. It's a folk metal band. They are they have played, I think, in back in one or two times. And
Hmm.
this a rock band, most like a rock band that is very famous now. I don't like it, but it's called The Warning. It's a band of pure just girls that are breaking it now in the mainstream. But mainstream is a lot different than the real, the true-ish metal scene. But those are the bands that are currently just making it out in the world. We
I'm
certainly
glad
have
they're making
lots.
it, but I can't. Unfortunately, I those names don't ring a bell, but I should check them out.
Yeah,
And
man.
I'm glad they're doing well.
Yeah, man, I am too, because if one grows, we all can grow with them. So that's the spirit
Exactly, exactly.
I will like to all of us to have, because sometimes in the metal scene just this not very uh, kind competition and this kind of things that are not a good thing for the scene, but we can wipe off that step by step, and maybe one day
Look,
we all be together.
I think they're starting from some advantage because there are a lot of metalheads in Mexico, and the market is well bigger than in the Faroes. Let me put
Definitely.
it like that. So you have some advantage to begin with.
Yeah, man, and we definitely have to
Just
make
use it
something out
all.
of it. Yeah, man, exactly. We have to be smarter than
Yeah,
we are currently
yeah.
are. So, Harry, those are all the questions I got for you. Thanks a lot for being so cool and so open to, so fun. Your answers were so fun to hear. And as I said at the beginning, please help me with the opening question for my next guest here in Conversation from the Underworld.
All right. No mercy. The first question for the next guest is, what is the meaning of life?
What is the meaning of life? Oh, that will be a tough one to answer, man.
Good.
Great, man. Great, man. And Harry, again, thanks a lot for your time. Thanks a lot for the reschedule of this interview. I think I can talk to you in the near future, and I'm waiting for you to come to Mexico to present this great album, because I think you will blow a hole in the sky with this kind of songs. I'm eager to listen to them live.
Thank you. Thank you for doing this great interview. And we really hope we will be able to make a trip to Mexico soon. I
Yeah, man.
ask the bookers every time we go to the US, if we can go to Mexico as well. And I'm pushing them. Eventually, it will happen. So
yeah, man.
see all Mexicans sometime soon.
Yeah, man. They forgot that Mexican is also Northern America. I don't know why.
I remind them. I remind them every time.
Yeah, man. Thanks a lot. Y haters, eso es todo lo que tenemos en esta entrevista con el gran Heri Joensen, el líder, vocalista y guitarrista principal de la grandísima banda Tyr. Espero que les haya gustado. Si fue así, no olviden apoyarnos con su like y apoyen a la banda y al sello escuchando y adquiriendo los materiales. Battle Ballad sale en unas semanas, entonces no se lo pierdan. Ya hay unos sencillos disponibles. Heri, thanks a lot. See you later.
Thank you. See ya.